the first thing you feel is not joy or peace, or even the gentle stretch of a good night's rest. No, it's the stiffness. The way your back protests before you even sit up. The slow creak in your knees as you swing your legs over the side of the bed. You pause for a moment, just breathing, waiting for the fog to lift, because it always does, eventually. Outside, the sun is rising, birds are chirping, life is stirring again, but inside, something feels slower, heavier. You reach for your robe, move toward the window, and look out at the day beginning all around you. There's coffee brewing somewhere down the hall, maybe the smell of toast, the quiet murmur of a morning news show from another room, but none of it quite reaches you yet. Not really. Because there's a question that comes with you every morning now, one that lingers like an old friend who won't leave. Where did my energy go? Not just the physical kind, the kind that used to get you gardening for hours, walking with friends, dancing at family weddings. It's more than that. It's the spark. The feeling that you could still do things, be things, live fully, not just endure each day. And lately, that spark has dimmed. Maybe you've watched some of your closest friends struggle. One went into the hospital last year, and you remember sitting by her bedside, holding her hand, wondering if this was the new normal. Another stopped coming to Bridge Club altogether. "I'm just tired," she said. And you nodded, because you understood. You understand so much more these days. Time has taught you patience, grace, perspective, but it's also taken a little here, a little there, a bit of strength, a bit of stamina, a bit of certainty about what the future holds. So you ask yourself sometimes in the quiet of the early morning, how do I want to age? Is it okay to simply slow down? To let life pass by while you watch from the porch? Or is there still something more? Something vibrant? Something full of purpose? Something that says, I may be older, but I am still very much here. What if I told you that one small change, one simple ritual, could bring back that sense of vitality, that ease in your body, that lightness in your spirit, that feeling of waking up ready to meet the day instead of bracing for it? What if the key to all-day energy wasn't a miracle drug or a grueling fitness plan, but something as simple as what you drink first thing in the morning? This isn't about chasing youth. That ship has sailed. And honestly, you wouldn't want to turn back time anyway. You've earned every wrinkle, every gray hair, every story etched into your skin. But what if you could feel better in your own skin? What if you could rise each morning, not dreading the aches, but looking forward to the possibilities? Because you deserve that. You've spent decades giving, raising families, building careers, supporting communities. Now it's time to give back to yourself. And it starts with a single choice. A choice to begin your day differently. A choice to nourish your body in a way that honors everything it has carried you through. So take a deep breath. Let's talk about how you can reclaim your energy, not just for today, but for all the days still ahead. And it begins with what you drink in the morning. There's a moment many of us reach, often without realizing it at first, when the body no longer moves the way it used to. You notice it in small ways. You pause before standing up from the couch, not out of laziness, but because your knees need a second to adjust. You take the elevator more often now, even when the stairs are just one flight. And sometimes, after a full night's sleep, you still wake up feeling tired. Not sick, not depressed, just worn down. This isn't just getting older, it's something deeper. It's the slow, almost imperceptible shift that happens over time. A decline in energy that affects more than just how you feel. It affects how you live. Because when energy fades, so does independence. You start saying no to things you once loved. A walk with friends becomes too much. A day out with the grandkids leaves you needing an afternoon nap. Eventually, You stop getting invited altogether, not out of neglect, but because people assume you're not up for it. And that's when isolation creeps in. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but quietly. Like fog rolling in on a quiet morning, you begin to miss the rhythm of life, the laughter around the dinner table, the warmth of shared stories, the joy of being needed. And with each missed opportunity, a little piece of your spirit feels like it's slipping away. You deserve better than this. You've spent a lifetime building something meaningful. You've raised families, held jobs, loved deeply, endured loss, and kept going through everything life has thrown at you. Now it's time to take care of yourself, not as an afterthought, not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Because here's the truth. Aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. Not like this. Your body may be older, yes, but it is still capable of healing, of thriving, of surprising you with strength you thought was long gone. The key lies in what you do every single day, especially in the very first moments after you wake up. That's right. What you drink in the morning can either drain your energy or fuel it. It can either support your joints, your heart, your brain, or work against them. And while there's no magic elixir that turns back time, there is a simple, science-backed ritual that can help you reclaim your vitality, one glass at a time. This isn't about extreme diets or expensive supplements. No flashy promises. No overnight miracles. Just real, gentle, sustainable changes that honor your age, your wisdom, and your worth. We'll talk about how hydration affects everything from your mood to your memory. How the right nutrients in the morning can reduce inflammation, ease joint pain, and give your metabolism the nudge it needs. But more than that, we'll talk about you. About how taking control of your health means taking back control of your life. Because energy isn't just physical, it's emotional, mental, spiritual. When you feel good, you show up differently. You smile more, you connect more, you live more. So let's make a promise, together. Let's start each day with intention. Let's give your body what it needs to rise, not just survive. And let's prove that growing older doesn't mean fading away. It means stepping into the next chapter with strength, with grace, and with all-day energy. Ready to begin? Then let's talk about what you should really be drinking in the morning. Let's take a moment to talk about something we rarely question, because it seems so obvious. You wake up tired. You feel sluggish by midday. Your joints ache when it rains. Your memory isn't as sharp as it used to be. And you think, this is just what getting older feels like. But what if I told you that some of these things, the fatigue, the stiffness, the forgetfulness, are not actually signs of aging at all? What if they're signs that your body is quietly asking for something it's not getting? Think back to a time, not too long ago, when you felt just a little better in the mornings. Maybe after a weekend away from home, or during a short trip where your routine changed slightly. Perhaps you slept differently, ate differently, or even drank something different. And for a day or two, you felt lighter, more awake, less sore. Did time reverse? Number. But your habits shifted and your body responded. That's the secret many people never realize. Your energy, your mobility, your clarity of mind. They aren't written in stone. They're shaped by choices. Small ones, daily ones, ones you can change. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how, after a long night without enough water, you feel foggy? Sluggish? Like your body is moving through molasses? Now imagine living like that every day without realizing it. Because dehydration doesn't always feel dramatic. Sometimes it whispers. It shows up as fatigue you blame on age, headaches you chalk up to stress, or joint pain you assume is arthritis. But what if fatigue isn't just age, but hydration? What if that morning grogginess could fade, not with caffeine, but with a single glass of something simple? something natural. And what about those stiff joints? You've probably heard the word inflammation more often lately. Doctors mention it. Health articles warn about it. But what does it really mean? It means your body is sending out signals, quiet alarms, because something is off balance. And sometimes those alarms are triggered not by disease, but by missing nutrients. Things like magnesium, potassium, omega-3s, or even the right kind of fiber. What if your body has been begging for one missing nutrient? One that could ease the tightness in your hands, reduce the creak in your knees, and help you move through your day with more grace. And here's another thought. We often look for answers in pills, potions, or prescriptions. We chase miracle cures, hoping for a quick fix. But what if the most powerful medicine isn't in a bottle? What if it's already sitting in your kitchen? In a lemon? In a handful of berries? In a spoonful of raw honey? Or a sprig of fresh mint? These aren't just flavors, they're healers. Quiet, gentle allies that work with your body instead of against it. So let's pause for a moment. Take a breath and ask yourself this. What if the way you age, how you feel each morning, how your body moves through the day, is not set in stone? What if you still have influence over your own vitality? Not because you're defying nature, but because you're finally working with it. Because you're giving your body what it needs to thrive, not just survive. This isn't about turning back time. It's about making the most of the time you have. And it starts with understanding what your body is truly telling you. So now let's go deeper. Let's explore the science behind these quiet signals. Let's uncover the truth about energy, hydration, and nutrition, and how one simple drink in the morning can change everything. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Let's talk about something that may surprise you. When we think of aging well, of feeling strong, alert, and full of life, we often focus on what we do with our bodies. Walking more, stretching daily, maybe even joining a gentle yoga class at the community center. But what if I told you that the most powerful thing you can do for your body each day is not movement at all? It's what you put into it. Yes, you heard that right. Nutrition after 70 is not just about avoiding salt or watching cholesterol. It's about fueling your body in a way that supports every part of who you are, from your bones to your brain, from your heart to your happiness. Think of your body like an old house. It has character, it has stories, it creaks a little more than it used to. But with the right care, it can still stand strong for decades to come. The same goes for you. Every cell in your body needs nourishment, not just to survive, but to thrive. And as we age, those needs change. The metabolism slows. Nutrient absorption becomes less efficient. Hormones shift. Even taste changes. So what worked for you at 50 might not work for you at 75, and that's okay. Because this isn't about going back to how things were. It's about learning how to live well, right where you are. Let me tell you about someone you might recognize. Her name is Marjorie. She's 74. She lives in Oregon. She raised 3 kids, taught high school English for over 30 years, and now spends her days gardening and reading mystery novels. But 2 years ago, she started noticing something unsettling. She was tired, constantly. Not just sleepy tired, but heavy tired. Like her body had forgotten how to feel light. At first, she thought it was stress, then menopause, then maybe depression. But then, she made one small change. She started paying attention to what she ate in the morning. Not because she wanted to lose weight, not because she was trying to get healthy in some drastic way, but because she remembered something her grandmother used to say. Start your day with something that gives you strength, not just flavor. So Marjorie began adding a few simple ingredients to her morning routine. Things like lemon water, chia seeds, and a spoonful of Greek yogurt. Within weeks, she felt different. Lighter, more awake, less achy. She didn't suddenly turn into a marathon runner, but she noticed she could walk farther without needing to stop. that she could read for longer without her mind drifting, that she smiled more because she felt better. Marjorie didn't find a miracle. She found a missing piece. And that's what nutrition is at this stage of life. Not a magic pill, but a key to unlocking the energy and clarity you deserve. Because food is more than fuel. It's medicine. It's memory. It's mood. And for seniors, it's one of the most powerful tools we have to stay independent, engaged, and truly alive. So ask yourself, have you ever felt like Marjorie? Like you're doing everything right, but still waking up tired? Like your body is asking for something, but you don't know what? Maybe it's not just time catching up to you. Maybe it's simply a matter of giving your body what it needs, starting with your very first meal of the day. Because when you begin your morning with intention, with real whole foods that nourish instead of just satisfy, you give your body a chance to respond, to heal, to energize, to remember that yes, you are still here, still capable, still growing, still living. And that matters. Now let's go deeper. Let's explore what exactly happens in your body when you start giving it the right kind of fuel, and why hydration plays such a quiet but powerful role in how you feel all day long. Are you ready? Then let's continue. There's a quiet truth many of us don't talk about, especially with others. It's not about our joints, or our memory, or even how long we can walk without stopping. It's about how we feel inside, not just on bad days, but on most days. Do you ever find yourself sitting alone in the evening, watching the shadows stretch across the room, and feel a heaviness that has nothing to do with your body? Maybe it starts with a memory, a voice you miss, a place you used to go, a time when your home was filled with laughter and life. And now it's quieter. Sometimes loneliness doesn't knock loudly at the door. It just settles in. You still have people who love you. You still see friends, maybe even family. But something feels different, like you're on the outside looking in. And if you've been feeling this way, even just sometimes, you are not alone. More importantly, what you're feeling matters. Because here's something science has shown over and over. Your heart doesn't just beat for your body. It beats for your soul. And when you feel lonely, disconnected, or forgotten, it affects more than just your mood. It affects your health. Studies show that chronic loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, weakens the immune system, and even speeds up cognitive decline. That's right. Feeling isolated isn't just emotionally painful, it's physically dangerous. But here's the good news. The opposite is also true. When you feel connected, when you laugh with someone who truly sees you, when you share a meal with someone who listens, when you hold hands with someone who remembers your stories, you send a signal to your entire body. You're safe. You are loved. You matter. And that signal does something powerful. It lowers blood pressure. It reduces inflammation. It lifts your mood. It gives your body permission to heal. Let me tell you about someone like you. Her name is Eleanor. She's 78. She lives in a small town in Wisconsin. Her husband passed away 5 years ago, and since then, she's found herself slipping into silence more often than she'd like. She eats well. She walks every day. She takes her vitamins. But something felt off. Until one morning, she decided to do something simple. She joined a book club at the local library. Not because she was desperate. Not because she thought it would fix her loneliness. Just because she missed having conversations that went deeper than the weather. And slowly, so slowly she almost didn't notice it at first, things began to change. She looked forward to Tuesdays. She remembered things better. She smiled more. And one day, she realized she hadn't taken an extra nap in weeks. Eleanor didn't take a pill. She didn't start a new diet. She simply gave herself what she needed, connection, and her body responded. So ask yourself, have you noticed how your body feels when you're surrounded by love? or how much lighter you feel after a conversation that makes you feel truly seen. Because those moments aren't just nice. They're nourishing, they're healing, they're medicine, and they're yours for the taking. So as we continue this journey together, remember this. Health is not just about what you eat or how much you move. It's about how you feel, deep down. And when you give yourself permission to be seen, to be heard, to be part of something bigger than just your own four walls, you open the door to energy, strength, and joy you might not have known were still waiting for you. Now, let's keep going. Let's explore how movement, not exercise, can help you stay young from the inside out. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Let's talk about something you already know, but maybe haven't said out loud. You don't need to run a marathon to feel better. You don't need to lift weights or take a spin class or chase some version of fitness that feels far away from who you are now. What you do need, what your body is quietly asking for, is movement, not exercise, not drills or routines or timed sets, just gentle, consistent motion that keeps your joints from stiffening, your blood flowing, and your mind connected to your body. Because here's the truth. When we stop moving, we start losing more than just strength. We lose confidence. We lose independence. We lose that quiet sense of being fully alive in our own skin. But the good news? You don't have to do much to keep it all going. In fact, some of the most powerful changes come from the smallest habits, like getting up and stretching before you even reach for your phone, or walking barefoot on the floor for a few minutes after waking, just to wake up your feet, your balance, your awareness, or doing something as simple as reaching for the sky while standing by your window, inhaling deeply, then exhaling slowly, like you're blowing away the morning fog. These aren't exercises, they're rituals, and they make a difference. Let me tell you about someone who learned this the gentle way. His name is Frank. He's 72, lives in Florida, used to be a carpenter, so his hands still bear the calluses, and his knees remember every step he ever took on a job site. A few years ago, he started having trouble with balance. Nothing dramatic, just little stumbles, a couple of near falls. His daughter got worried. She suggested physical therapy. He resisted at first, didn't want to feel broken, didn't want to be treated like he needed fixing. So instead, he made a deal with himself. He'd try one small thing each week, something easy, something he could do without effort or equipment. First, he started walking around the block every morning, just once, slowly, with a cup of tea in hand. Then he added 5 minutes of stretching after breakfast, nothing fancy, just reaching, bending, turning. After a few weeks, he began noticing things. His legs felt steadier. He didn't wobble when he stood up. He could carry groceries again without needing to rest halfway through. More importantly, he felt like himself again. Frank didn't transform into an athlete. He simply gave his body what it needed: attention, rhythm, motion. And that was enough. So ask yourself, what's one small change you could try this week? Maybe it's starting your day with a slow walk around the house before you sit down. Maybe it's taking the stairs once a day instead of the elevator. Or maybe it's just pausing during your favorite show to stand and stretch for 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be consistent. Because over time, those tiny choices add up. They build strength. They bring energy. They help you stay balanced, not just physically, but emotionally too. And isn't that what we all want? To feel steady, to feel strong, to feel like we can still move through life with grace, with ease, and with joy. Now let's keep going. Let's talk about something that might surprise you. How your gut holds the key to everything from brain fog to joint pain. Are you ready? Then let's begin. There comes a time in life when we begin to ask questions that go deeper than health or habits. Not just, how do I feel? But, what does it all mean? Not just, am I taking care of my body? But, Am I living a life that feels true? These are not small questions, and they're not distractions from your health. They're part of it, because how you feel inside, the sense of purpose, peace, or even confusion you carry, shapes everything about how you age. When you have something to look forward to each day, your body wakes up with more energy. When you feel connected to something bigger than yourself, a garden, a faith, a community, you move through life with more grace. And when you let go of fear, even just a little, you open space for joy to return. Let me tell you about someone who discovered this in her own quiet way. Her name is Ruth. She's 79, lives in a small town near the coast. She raised 2 children alone after her husband passed away early. She worked as a librarian, loved poetry, and always kept a journal by her bedside. But after retirement, she began to feel untethered. The days blurred together. Her children were busy with their own lives. Her friends had moved or passed on, and she started asking herself a question that felt both simple and devastating. Is this all there is now? She wasn't depressed, not exactly, but something was missing. Until one morning she made a decision, not dramatic, not planned, but spontaneous. She picked up her old journal, and she started writing again. Not poems this time, just stories, memories, reflections on what she'd learned, what she missed, what still mattered. And slowly, something shifted. She began sharing those writings at a local senior center, then with a small group of women who met weekly to talk and listen. Eventually, she even published a small book of reflections, just for her family, but it meant the world to them. Ruth didn't find a new career or start traveling the world. She simply gave herself permission to matter, to speak, to share, to be seen. And in doing so, she found something even better than distraction. She found purpose. And purpose, dear friend, is one of the most powerful medicines there is. Because when you know why you're here, even if it's just to love, to remember, to show up for someone else, you walk differently, you breathe differently, you live differently. So ask yourself, what do you want the next chapter of your life to feel like? Do you want it to feel full, peaceful, connected, maybe even joyful? It's never too late to shape that chapter, to plant a garden, join a class, write a letter, say yes to a walk with a neighbor, to reclaim what makes your heart feel at home. Because aging isn't just about slowing down, it's also about deepening, about finding meaning in the quiet moments, about learning to live fully, even as life changes. And that, more than anything, is what keeps us young from the inside out. Now, let's bring it all together. Let's talk about the drink that can help you start each morning with energy, clarity, and intention. Are you ready? Then let's begin. You've made it this far. That means something. It means you still care. You still believe, maybe quietly, maybe cautiously, that things can be better, that you deserve more than fatigue, more than stiffness, more than loneliness or fear or the slow drift into feeling invisible. And you're right. You are not too old. You are not done yet. Your body still listens when you care for it. Your heart still beats with purpose. And your story, your life, is not over. In fact, this might just be the most beautiful chapter yet. Because now you know the truth. Energy doesn't have to fade. Mobility doesn't have to vanish. Joy doesn't have to disappear. These things can return, not suddenly, not perfectly, but gently, steadily, like the sun rising after a long night. All it takes is one small step, one morning drink, one stretch by the window, one conversation that reminds you you're not alone. You don't have to overhaul your life. You just have to begin again. Even slowly, even with shaky hands, even if today feels uncertain. Because every time you choose to nourish your body, to move with intention, to connect with someone who sees you, you are choosing yourself. And that choice, it changes everything. So take a deep breath. Look at your hands, the ones that have held babies, turned pages, built homes, wiped tears, planted gardens. They are still strong, still capable, still worthy of care, still part of a life that matters. This is your time, not to chase youth, not to prove anything, but to live fully, in your own way, on your own terms. Start now, even if it's small, even if it's slow. Every step you take, no matter how quiet, is still yours, and it counts more than you know. Thank you for being here, for listening, for believing that better days are still possible, and for choosing to rise tomorrow with a little more energy, a little more hope, and a whole lot more love for the life you still get to live. Now go make that morning drink. And welcome to the next chapter. It's yours, and it's beautiful. Before you go, I want to ask you something. Just one thing. What was it that made you pause today? Was it the story about Marjorie and how a small change brought back her energy? Or maybe it was Eleanor's quiet return to connection? Or perhaps it was the moment you realized, deep down, that your body is still listening, that you are not done yet, that better days are still waiting for you. So now I invite you to take just a moment to sit with that thought and ask yourself, what small change will I try starting tomorrow morning? Maybe it's making that drink we talked about. Maybe it's stretching before you reach for your coffee. Or maybe it's simply sitting quietly for a few minutes, breathing deeply, reminding yourself that you are here. And that matters. Whatever it is, share it. Tell us in the comments below. Or better yet, tag a friend or loved one who needs to hear this too. Because aging isn't something we do alone. It's something we walk through together, with stories, with support, with shared wisdom, passed from one heart to another. This channel is more than videos. It's a community, a place where experience meets hope, where years lived become lessons shared, and where every one of us, no matter our age, is still growing, still learning, still becoming. So if this resonated with you, if something here reminded you that you're not alone, that you still have strength, that you still have time, that you still matter, then please hit subscribe. We're walking this path together. One cup, one stretch, one conversation at a time. Thank you for being here, for listening, for showing up for yourself. Now, let's keep going. Together.